There's no better feature rapper than J. Cole. What's going on, YouTube? It's only Knox Hill, and we're back with our reaction series. So today, man, there is a song I've been waiting to get to. My apologies. I played my first headline show in 5+ years. A lot went into that. I had a huge drop also this past weekend. I've got a brand new album coming out later this week. So yeah, I'm behind. But listen, this right here, right now is something that needs to be done for the culture, for hip-hop, for MCing. We got new Daylyt. We got new J. Cole. This right here, right now is none other than a plate of collard greens. But before we get any further, listen, if you like the hat that I'm wearing, if you like the hoodie that I'm wearing, knoxhilldmv.com. We got hats, we got shirts, we got hoodies, everything that you need, guys. If you want to support, it really does go a long way. Rep the brand, get it out there. knoxhilldmv.com. I'll put all links down below so you can cop yours. But anyways, know what we're here for. J. Cole, Daylyt, step back up to the plate. Let's see what you got.
Yeah. P, I see you. Oh, this shit feel like. You know that feeling when. Yeah.
Yo, what language is that? I thought it was like Spanish at first, but it's similar. It's Latin. Is it Portuguese or Italian? I can't tell. It's a hell of a sample to cut into this mix and just give us those smooth sounds, man. Some soul injected into this one.
Yeah. Just pray.
Let those strings build. Let those keys just lightly hit off to the side. I like this.
Yeah. Just pray for me on the 3rd. It's a body chopped in thirds, I heard. A lot of sheep in a circle, and you the goat, the Judas coming and purge.
Oh.
It hurt them every time you splurge. All this time spent, the mind sent the haters at me. It make me happy knowing they can never touch me. I tackle every goal he made, they think we playing rugby. The rugby and the ghost look like a floor at the haunted house. 600,000 on 200 acres, I know it hurt them bad. Paparazzi peek, we close the curtains, I know it hurt them mad. Yeah. It's like a verse that the pastor gave from the pulpit. They mad adore me, but I ain't here for the bullshit. Never stress who they gon' bless today. I knew I'd get a meal, I came from Section 8, ain't stressed the plate.
Oof.
Yeah, the rest is greatness, it's history in the making. His story he making, taken to the fact that we was taken, placed inside the trap tap with laxatives, and we think that we running shit. Relax and relapse, dope lift.
Bars on bars.
Was taken, placed inside the trap tap with laxatives, and we think that we running shit. Relax and relapse, dope lift up 100 clips. Some blocks turn hunted, growth stunted like Barnum and Bailey. Hard for the babies, clowning, drowning they surroundings. If I op out, backseat of the police car, but never cop out. The pole too low to stop doubting for better days. The sun bright out, children let it raise. If you hear this, keep your head up, praise. Go.
Wow, what just a smooth, measured pocket and delivery from Daylyt. Some really dope multi-syllable schemes, and it's Daylyt. You know you're going to get the bars. You know you're going to get the doubles and the triples and the way that he punches in. But what I found really interesting with that is that normally, I talked about this before, like a lot of rap is guided by the percussion, right? You got to have like drums running somewhere, right? Because that kind of gives you your heartbeat. Let that bass run underneath of it. And then the rapper kind of chooses what to do based off of what the drums are doing. In this case, there are no drums. To me, the drums become the vocals themselves, and Daylyt's approach to it and pocket of flow and delivery that he hits it with. All right, let's break down some of these schemes now.
You know that feeling when. Yeah. Just pray for me on the 3rd. It's a body chopped in thirds, I heard.
Just pray for me on the 3rd. What's important about the 3rd in terms of Christianity? Jesus rose on the 3rd day. That's the day he was resurrected. So pray for me on the 3rd of the month. Obviously pray, tying into the Christian. That's what sets up the scheme and leads you over there. Then he talks about Judas in a little bit too. Daylyt always brings a lot of religious schemes into what he's doing.
Just pray for me on the 3rd. It's a body chopped in thirds, I heard.
And then obviously 3rd of the month on the 3rd. Body chopped into thirds. You know what else I'm thinking about right now? Because we got one of the big 3 on this track. I wonder if he's talking about the body of hip-hop symbolically being chopped into thirds. Talking about this big 3, but now feels like it's getting purged in a different way.
Just pray for me on the 3rd. It's a body chopped in thirds, I heard. A lot of sheep in a circle, and you the goat, the Judas coming and purge.
A lot of sheep in the circle. And see, that's got sort of a dual layer to me, because the first layer is how a lot of us understand sheep today. Like, you don't want to be a sheep, right? People are sheep. People are just followers, right? You want to stand out. You're trying to be the goat. But if you think about the religious imagery, there's a different meaning to that. And there's a different understanding then of sheep and goats. In the book of Matthew, you have sheep, and sheep will sit at God's right hand, because sheep are the true followers, the true believers. Whereas the goats will sit on the left, and they'll be cast down to hell, and they'll be judged, right? They'll be cast for judgment, because the goats represent the hard-hearted. So there's a clever flip here between, like, obviously the rap game, sheep, trying to stand out, be a goat. But then you start peeling back the layers to the religious imagery, and it has a different connotation and a totally different flip to the meanings.
Just pray for me on the third. It's a body chopped in thirds, I heard. A lot of sheep in a circle, and you the goat, the Judas coming and purge.
Just thought about this one too. Obviously, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? The Holy Trinity, third, threes. There's layers of this.
Chopped in thirds, I heard. A lot of sheep in a circle, and you the goat, the Judas coming and purge. It hurt them every time you splurge. All this time spent, the mind sent the haters at me. It make me happy knowing they can never touch me. I tackle every goal he made, they think we playing rugby.
Tackle every goal he made, but the way that he says goal he sounds like goalie, tackling goalies versus tackling your goals, chasing your goals versus literally tackling in the sport of rugby.
They can never touch me. I tackle every goal he made, they think we playing rugby. The rugby and the ghosts look like a floor at the haunted house.
The rugby in the ghost look like the floor of the haunted house of Rolls Royce ghosts. So the rug on the floor, haunted house, ghost to haunted house versus him flexing that he's in a ghost, flipping.
We playing rugby. The rugby and the ghosts look like a floor at the haunted house. 600,000 on 200 acres. I know it hurt them bad. Paparazzi peek, we close the curtains. I know it hurt them mad. Yeah, it's like a verse that the pastor gave from the pulpit. They mad adore me.
Verse that the pastor gave from the pulpit. He stays on this religious theme throughout. Obviously, like a verse, meaning a verse in the Bible, versus a verse, as we call a rap verse from Daylyt right here. Can I hit play? Sorry, something popped up and I had to close on my screen.
Yeah, it's like a verse that the pastor gave from the pulpit. They mad adore me, but I ain't here for the bullshit. Never stress.
They mad adore me. The way that he said that makes me think that there's a double there, right? Instead of just mad adoring him, like trying to guide him, but I'm not here for the bullshit, like a matador, like waving a bull in, right? Waving the red, versus they mad adore me. M-A-D space A-D-O-R-E. They adore me. They lift me up in praise. They mad adore me, but I ain't here for the bullshit, right? I got a deeper message and meaning I'm trying to convey.
Blessed today, I knew I'd get a meal. I came from Section 8, ain't stressed to play. Yeah.
Section 8, stress to play, blessed today, smooth lips on that rhyme writing, baby.
Blessed today, I knew I'd get a meal. I came from Section 8, ain't stressed to play. Yeah.
Knew I'd get a meal, like a million, versus trying to get a meal because he was so poor, right? Coming out of Section 8 housing, looking for that. So he flips meal, M-E-A-L, into mill, M-I-L.
Gon' bless today, I knew I'd get a meal. I came from Section 8, ain't stressed to play. Yeah. The rest is greatness, it's history in the making. His story he making, take it to the fact.
I just love that flip and MCing right there, from history to his space story.
Fact that we was taking place inside the trap tap with laxatives, and we think that we running shit.
You think we're running shit, like we're bossing shit, like we're running it, versus obviously if you pop a bunch of laxatives, yeah, your shit's gonna be pretty runny there.
Place inside the trap tap with laxatives, and we think that we running shit.
Diarrhea bars.
Relax and relapse, dope, lift up 100 clips. Some blocks turn hunted, growth stunted like Barnum and Bailey. Hard for the babies, clowning, drowning, they surround us.
Barnum and Bailey, obviously circus, so it's like a circus out here. He uses that to flip into a symbolism of clowning, and then growth stunted, because so many don't make it and don't end up growing up in the Section 8 house and in the blocks where he's from, versus Barnum and Bailey, like bringing little people out who have their growth stunted on stage to perform. It's all a circus, and he's clowning in a different sense.
Growth stunted like Barnum and Bailey, hard for the babies, clowning, drowning, they surround us if I op out, backseat of the police car, but
drowning, they surround as if an op out, right? They'll do anything to get rid of the ops because we're taught this team mentality, right? You think about where Daylyt's from. And the gangs running shit, right? One side versus the other. and just drowning surroundings. Like literally like taking the op and drowning him versus like drowning out all your surroundings. Nothing else matters than taking the op out.
Placed inside the trap tap with laxatives, and we think that we running shit. Relax and relapse, dope lift up 100 clips. Some blocks.
Even that, dope lift up 100 clips. Right, violence, 100 clips. So gun bars right there versus like 100 clips, 100 bands because of the dope. The dope leads to violence. It also leads to a lot of money and wealth too.
We running shit. Relax and relapse, dope lift up 100 clips. Some blocks turn hunted, growth stunted like Barnum and Bailey. Hard for the babies, clowning, drowning they surroundings. If I op out, backseat of the police car, but never cop out. The po too low to stop doubting for better days.
Never cop out. They never cop out of this situation. They'll never snitch. Versus like being in a police car, a cop is out.
Backseat of the police car, but never cop out.
Backseat of the police car, but never cop out. I love how he just kind of fast forwards a little bit through that flow there and then winds it back down to that more smooth delivery.
Too low to stop doubting for better days. The sun bright out, children let it raise. If you hit it,
sun, let it raise, like the sun's rays versus children. Children need to be raised versus the pole's too long, so raise up the pole. That's a triple right there.
If you hit this, keep your head up, praise. Go. 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 Yeah.
Oh no, it's dangerous once Cole starts repeating the end of the other rapper's verse.
Go. Yeah. The reign is obsolete. Jermaine is out to be celebrated, paraded out in the streets for days, if not for weeks, for bringing us out the bleakest burning pit. My words is slick when it's my turn to kick. I apply pressure like I'm trained to stop a leak. How vain is my belief to say that I could be the greatest y'all done seen when my cadence proper from. I can't
even let it play. The tourniquet. A tourniquet. Come on, that's stupid. That's stupid.
How vain is my belief to say that I could be the greatest y'all done seen when my cadence proper from days I laid across the street from these Caucasian neighbors. New kids I stayed around are green and not as mean as my homies that played on Project Swings where fate is not foreseen. My brain stained, ingrained with the stories of slain bodies from heinous robberies and rated R regimes.
Brain, slain, grain, and then obsolete. Robberies. So he's got that external obsolete 1, 2, 3 scheme that he keeps punching in. Then he finds different internal sounds that he's punching. The rhyme writing on this. J. Cole is one of the best rhyme writers of our time.
Ingrained with the stories of slain bodies from heinous robberies and rated R regimes, exchanging raw for cream. Tricked them, it went left. They pulling up, shooting like Tatum off a screen. The bills is due as kids, we knew the way the calls would ring. Since mom ain't paid them off, we trained to watch the names across the screen and let collections pass just like we failed to make an offering. Gotta channel thoughts, cause damn the cable off it seems. Deep down I hated Halloween with all that I have seen. Who needs another way to cause a scream? Dangerous as the king of pop, how well they spin your block. No moves, minimal, smooth criminals. The whole gang doing insane amount of lean. This ain't prescribed cause there's.
That's a stupid Michael Jackson scheme.
Cause there's no doc for pain they harboring. Some pray to God, but it's odd, cause Satan's catered all their dreams. Spiritually malnourished, dehydrated, now they fiend for truth in these flows. Food for their souls to make it all serene. Well, here's a plate of collard greens.
No. Too much wordplay on that. Let's bring it back and break this down.
The reign is obsolete. Jermaine is out to be celebrated.
Reign obsolete. Jermaine out to be. Just the ain obsolete. Just the way he sets up this rhyme writing.
Paraded out in the streets for
paraded out in the streets.
For days, if not for weeks.
Days, not for weeks.
Weeks for bringing us out the bleakest burning pit. My words is slick when it's my.
And then he flips burning pit. My words is slick. And then he just casually shifts the rhyme writing. Again, the multis are ridiculous on this. He's just stacking Lego blocks right now of consonants and assonants and just all the sounds. Just everything is rhyming and lining up, man.
Trees for days, if not for weeks, for bringing us out the bleakest burning pit. My words is slick when it's my turn to kick. I apply pressure like I'm trained to stop a leak.
I apply pressure like I'm trained to stop a leak. You're applying pressure, but also a tourniquet, right? You use, like, tie a tourniquet around to an injury to try to stop the bleeding and tighten a tourniquet around. So that applies pressure to it. It's his turn to kick, his turn to kick it, his time versus a turn to kick, applying pressure on the game through his raps, through with what he does versus literally applying pressure to stop a leak, leaking out this music right now. Come on.
My words is slick when it's my turn to kick. I apply pressure like I'm trained to stop a leak. How vain is my belief to say that I.
And then how vain is my belief? Like when you're vain, you're full of yourself. How vain is that self-belief that I have? Versus applying pressure, stopping a leak, because a tourniquet tries to stop the leaking of your veins, of blood pouring out of your veins. How vain? That's a ridiculous flip out of the tourniquet scheme.
Streets for days, if not for weeks, for bringing us out the bleakest burning pit. My words are slick when it's my turn to kick. I apply pressure like I'm trained to stop a leak. How vain is my belief to say that I could be the greatest y'all done seen, when my cadence proper from days I laid across the street from these Caucasian neighbors. New kids I stayed around are green and not as mean as my homies that played on Project Swings.
Stayed on green, but I take it in different ways. Green as in like envy and jealousy. Obviously Caucasian neighbors, how you doing?
I stayed around are green and not as mean as my homies that played on Project Swings.
Not as mean as my homies play on Project Swings. I take it as like where he is now, right? Like looking out, and he's in nicer communities versus those from the projects. And the kids that grew up here are very different than the kids that grew up where I'm from.
Asian neighbors, new kids I stayed around are green and not as mean as my homies that played on Project Swings, where fate is not foreseen. My brain stained, ingrained with the stories of slain.
Fate is not foreseen, because you don't know what your fate is going to be. Nothing is promised where J.COLE's from, right?
Swings, where fate is not foreseen. My brain stained, ingrained with the stories of slain bodies from heinous robberies and rated R regimes, exchanging raw for cream, tricked them, it went left.
Rated R regimes traded raw for cream. Rated R regimes traded raw for cream. Just the way that he sets up that to make all those sounds link up. Again, the rhyme writing is ridiculous wordsmithing, man. I just love just the way that he puts that poetically. Rated R regimes. The shit that I've seen. The violence. The drugs. All of this that I've come through. The trauma that I have to deal with and process.
Robberies and rated R regimes, exchanging raw for cream, tricked them, it went left.
Right, exchanging raw. Like dealing those raw drugs, raw substances for cream, trying to make that money, the dope game.
Heinous robberies and rated R regimes, exchanging raw for cream, tricked them, it went left. They pulling up, shooting like Tatum off a screen. The bills is due as kids, we knew the way to call.
Tatum from the Celtics coming off the screen. It's all net. Come on.
Like Tatum off a screen.
And they pull up shooting where he's from. That's a ridiculous basketball into gun bar scheme. Come on.
The bills is due as kids. We knew the way the calls would ring. Since mom ain't paid them off, we trained to watch the names across the screen and let collections pass just like we failed to make an offering. Got a channel.
Let collections pass like we failed to make an offering, right? The collection plate comes around, you don't put anything, you don't put an offering in for the church, you just pass it on. Versus because debt collectors are coming because mom hasn't paid the bills and they're just screening that caller ID and they're not answering the calls, they're just letting those debt collectors pass. Smooth flip there.
The ring, since mom ain't paid them off, we trained to watch the names across the screen and let collections.
Yeah, names across the screen like caller ID screen.
Ring, gotta channel thoughts cause damn the cable off it seems.
Channel thoughts because the cable's off. Why is the cable off? Because mom couldn't pay the bills, right? So he ties in with that scheme versus like channeling. Changing the channel, channeling within your mind your thoughts. Ridiculous.
Channel thoughts because damn the cable off it seems.
You had to entertain yourself because you couldn't watch TV because they couldn't afford it.
Damn the cable off it seems. Deep down I hated Halloween with all that I have seen. Who needs another way to cause a scream? Dangerous as the king of pop. How well they spin your block. No moves, minimal, smooth criminals. The whole game.
Dangerous as the king of pop. The king of pop, Michael Jackson, who had a song, Scream. Who had a song, Smooth Criminal. Who had an album, Dangerous as the King of Pop. Michael Jackson's album, Dangerous.
The scream, dangerous as the king of pop. How well they spin your block. No moves, minimal, smooth criminals. The whole gang doing insane amount of lean. This ain't
whole gang doing insane amounts of lean. And Michael Jackson's famous, you know, like lean, smooth criminal. He's leaning verses like they're all hooked up, drinking lean.
with all that I have seen. Who needs another way to cause a scream? Dangerous as the king.
But also he stays on that Halloween scheme, right? I hated Halloween. Who needs another reason to cause a scream? Because of all the shit that I've seen. Like, I don't need to be surprised with Halloween because I've seen enough. I've been through real life Halloween. And then he takes that and flips it into Michael Jackson with Scream. Michael Jackson Thriller to Halloween. Come on.
The names across the screen and let collections pass just like we failed to make an offering. Gotta channel thoughts cause damn the cable off it seems. Deep.
That line is, the more that I hear that line, gotta channel thoughts because damn the cable off it seems. Like, what a way to describe poverty and coming up as a kid and channeling thoughts, but then just having a ridiculous double on changing the channel versus what you channel in your mind and flicking through the channels in your head using your imagination.
And I hated Halloween with all that I have seen. Who needs another way to cause a scream? Dangerous as the king of pop. How well they spin your block. No moves, minimal, smooth criminals. The whole gang doing insane amount of lean. This ain't prescribed cause there's no doc for pain they harboring. Some pray to God, but it's odd cause Satan's catered all their dreams. Spiritually.
Pray to God, but it's odd because Satan has catered all their dreams, right? The drug use, the violence, all this lifestyle that gets celebrated is the work in the hands of the devil. And then there's no doc for prescription meds. Even though they're popping prescription meds into their lean, right? There's no doc that can prescribe a solution. The reason that they're on the lean, that they're doing all these drugs, is because of all the pain and the tragedy and the trauma. I just made a song talking about a lot of these issues too.
Some pray to God, but it's odd cause Satan's catered all their dreams. Spiritually malnourished, dehydrated, now they fiend for truth in these flows. Food for their souls to make it.
Dehydrated, now they fiend for truth in these flows. If they're dehydrated, they really need these flows. Flows like water because they don't have enough hydration versus the flows, the rap flows that he's given us. The wordplay is on point on this.
Spiritually malnourished, dehydrated, now they fiend for truth in these flows. Food for their souls to make it all serene.
Food for their souls to make it all serene. And then right here.
Well, here's a plate of collard greens.
Well, here's a plate of collard greens, right? I'm giving you that food for the soul versus collard greens are often used in soul food. And this goes deeper to me. Plate of collard greens. That's what Daylyt is writing down, I guess, on the check here, right?
Yeah.
Because if you even look at the history of collard greens, you know what type of music and message Daylyt and J.COLE stand for, right? Collard greens originated in Africa. They were brought over by slaves. Slaves were allowed to just grow a very minimal amount in order to get by, to survive and feed themselves. Well, a very cheap plant to grow and to make different plates out of was collard greens that were used. So you have that connection, one, with the homeland of Africa, two, coming back through to slavery, right? And racial identity and racial politics that still connect to our history, that connect through to hip hop and to the culture, and then connect to today. So to me, there's deeper meanings and messages there with the collard greens that J.COLE has given us versus the knowledge that him and Daylyt want to give us and inspire those listening with. Man, this is layered.
Well, here's a plate of collard greens. Yeah.
Wow. What a great fucking song. Honestly, that's just like, that's hip hop soul right there. I love the message. I love the lyricism. I love the MCing on that. That's one of the best verses I have heard this year from J.COLE. Daylyt came through and did his damn thing as always. J.COLE, Daylyt, you were Knox Hill certified. Hope you guys liked today's video. This, for some reason, you're here at the end. Obviously, join the content. Do me a huge favor. Support the channel directly. Subscribe, notifications on. Really does go a long way. Also, I'm trying to keep my voice afloat. I just played my first headline show, so apologies if it was a little rough. Try to give you guys my best energy. But listen, if you really are enjoying the channel, do subscribe, do support. It really does go a long way. Cop your hats, cop your hoodies, cop your merch. knoxhilldmv.com. I'll catch you again.